Hi, my name is Andre Quintero, and I'm the mayor of the city of El Monte. There are many questions out there regarding the rent moratorium. We're producing this video to give you more information. It will be in English and in Spanish for those of you that need to have it translated. At the meeting on April 7, 2020, the El Monte City Council unanimously approved an urgency ordinance revising the eviction moratorium previously approved on March 19, 2020. The revised moratorium expands protections against eviction to certain eligible commercial tenants. Under the moratorium, both residential and commercial tenants cannot be evicted solely because they are unable to make rent payments at the present time due to hardship brought about as a result of the COVID-19 crisis. So these are some common questions that are asked of us. We're trying to provide some information. A lot of times people have difficulty maybe reading or understanding kind of what is in the ordinance itself. So we wanted to make sure that we presented an alternative way of communicating the information. Who is covered under the eviction moratorium? Residential tenants eligible for relief are those who have suffered the following as a result of the COVID-19 crisis: loss of a job, work furlough, reduction in work hours, inability to work because the tenant is sick with COVID-19, or cannot work because the tenant must stay home to care for a family household member who is sick with COVID-19, or inability to work because the tenant must care for a minor child whose school has closed as a result of COVID-19. Commercial tenants are also eligible for relief, and it's for those businesses that are considered non-essential businesses by the County of Los Angeles Department of Public Health, and therefore required to cease all in-person operations. Examples of that: gyms, fitness centers, hair and nail salons, clothing stores, car wash businesses, theaters. And B is essentially El Monte based, a true local business as opposed to a national business chain, incorporated or headquartered elsewhere, that just happened to rent in El Monte. Next question: how do I invoke the protections under the moratorium? In order to receive protection under the moratorium, a tenant must notify his or her landlord of the tenant's eligibility for protection under the moratorium before the rent is due or within a reasonable period of time after the rent has become due, but in no event later than 30 days. This is a critical first step and one that should be documented in writing. If you do not notify your landlord of your eligibility for relief, you will not be able to avail yourself of the relief. It's called notice. You want to make sure that you put your landlord on notice that you qualify under the moratorium. Next question: what do I need to provide my landlord to prove I am eligible? Any sort of objectively verifiable documentation that credibly demonstrates that your inability to pay rent at the present time is caused by one or more of the COVID-19 related hardship factors described above will suffice to establish eligibility. The urgency ordinance establishing the moratorium provides some examples: a written notice from your employer citing COVID-19 as a reason for reduced work hours, work furlough, or termination; employer paycheck stubs, payroll checks, bank statements, or medical bills, or signed letters or statements from your employer or supervisor explaining your changed financial circumstances; or notification from your child's school declaring a school closure related to COVID-19. Commercial tenants may provide a copy of any governmental order identifying the tenant's business as a non-essential business by the county; B, any notice from a governmental entity ordering the tenant's business to cease in-person operations; and or C, any governmental license or permit identifying the business headquarters as being located within the city. Next question: am I required to pay the rent I do not pay during the moratorium at some point in the future? The answer is yes. The eviction moratorium is only designed to prevent you from being evicted while the moratorium is in effect. Except as provided below, rent that becomes due during the moratorium period but which you do not pay will need to be paid to your landlord after the moratorium ends. The city's eviction moratorium is set to expire on May 31st, 2020. unless extended. Tenants who avail themselves of the protections afforded under the moratorium will have 120 days from the expiration date of the moratorium to pay back all rent owed to the landlord that accrued during the moratorium period. Note that rent that becomes due after May 31st, expiration date, or any extension to the expiration due will be due within the normal time frame specified in your lease. Tenants and landlords are free to make alternative arrangements for the payment of back rent. And I encourage you to have dialogues with your landlord early and often to make sure that they understand that you are protected by the moratorium. But if you guys can work out an arrangement within the lease or the contracting authority that you have between you and your landlord, you might want to consider looking at all the alternatives available. If you are having difficult time with your particular landlord, we do recommend that you contact LA County Department of Consumer Affairs. They do have support for renters as well. Community resources. These are some of the community resources you can avail yourself of. Residential tenants are encouraged to contact Neighborhood Legal Services. They're located here in the city of El Monte between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, at 1-800-433-6251. Again, that's 1-800-433-6251. Leave a voicemail message and your call will be returned. Or 626-307-3647. Again, that's 626-307-3647. Also, to see if you may be eligible for rent assistance, contact the Volunteers of America Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. at 626-442-4357. Again, that's 626-442-4357. Both organizations are under contract with the City of El Monte and do provide services for our community. For further information, follow the links provided. Also, you can visit us on our website, www.elmonteca.gov, or visit our website and click on our virtual City Hall for more information.